All right, this is part 3 of your chapter 4 cell notes. I'm actually going to add another section, and I'm going to take pictures of additional notes to give you, just because when I was looking through what you needed to know, I thought that these notes were included in those, and they aren't, and they're very important for a lot of things going on. So I will give you these notes as well. But first, we are on protein synthesis. Protein synthesis, or production, is based on instructions from DNA, which is carried by RNA to the ribosomes, the protein builders. So it goes from DNA to RNA to ribosomes, which build the proteins. And don't worry, we're going to go into that in so much detail later on. I have this picture of a prokaryotic cell up because I'm talking about locomotion. There are a lot of parts to locomotion, and some of these get confused between one cell or between types of cells. In a prokaryotic cell, the little hair-like structures that are coming off are not cilia, or cilia, which is the first blank there. It says hair-like structures on the outside of many unicellular organisms for movement like ours. Now, prokaryotic cells can also have cilia, but what you're seeing here are pili, P-I-L-I, and those are responsible for bacterial reproduction. So they are what allows bacteria to change rather quickly in their environment. They will share DNA pieces from one bacteria to the next by hooking those pili up to each other. So cilia do look like this, but they just aren't on most bacteria pictures that you see. But they are also on the surface of many cells in your body, cilia are, and they're in your trachea that help keep dust away from your lungs and the lining of your nasal passages. They're also in, it's not mentioned here, but they're also in the fallopian tubes to help the egg and the sperm pass through. More for the egg and less for the sperm. Your body does not like to allow it to pass. But anyway, you do have cilia there, and you also have cilia in your digestive tract as well. You have flagella, which you can see on this. This is the tail-like whip. They're on a lot of unicellular organisms and also on a few specific cells of eukaryotic cells. And they allow it to do locomotion as well. So the next type of cell we're going to talk about are your plant cells. And I've got a picture here. When I ended your notes from last time, I did talk about chloroplasts. Chloroplasts are usually around the outside of your cell, right under that cell membrane. And that's how they're pictured in this picture. They're green and they're disc-like. If you looked at your Elodia leaf in lab already, you will have seen them. If not, then they are just right along the outsides of your cells, and you'll see them in this upcoming week. So plant cells are nearly identical to animal cells. However, there's several organelles that plant cells have that animal cells do not have. They have the cell wall. In plant cells, they're made of cellulose, and it's outside the cell membrane. Fungi cells have a cell wall, but it's made of chitin, a different material. So even those are slightly different than animal cells. They also have plastids, which contain pigments or the color of cells. So when your chloroplasts break down in your leaves and they start to get absorbed by the plant, the materials in them, that's what happens right now in the fall. You get to see the color change, and it's beautiful. And what you're seeing is those underlying plastids. You're seeing carotenoids, which are orange, and other pigments that you don't see normally because the green color just overwhelms it, but it's always present there. Chloroplast contains chlorophyll. Again, I just talked about those. In the presence of light, it allows plants to combine carbon dioxide and water to make food and oxygen in a process called photosynthesis. Chromoplast contains various pigments that give flowers, leaves, and fruits their color. So again, chromoplasts are a type of plastid, and chloroplasts are a type of plastids. Chromoplasts are the different colors, chloroplasts are green. And you've got a note down at the bottom that's talking about cell size. Cell size is usually small. It's less than 2 or 0.2 millimeters. So it's about 200 micrometers, where we did our estimations in lab. It doesn't get very big. So, but the reason for that is organisms that are larger, they have more cells. If they're smaller, they have to have their size controlled. It's usually controlled by the DNA in the nucleus. But why that is because they have to quickly exchange materials from the outside into their cells. They have to do whatever reactions they have to take place, and then they have to get waste back out of their cells. We have specialized organs that do that for us. Eukaryotic cells are bigger because they have specialized organelles that help them with that. But prokaryotic cells that do not have those specialized organelles have to be even very much smaller because they have to very quickly get materials into and out of their cell and do those reactions very quickly so they can survive. So that's all of this section of notes for Chapter 4. Again, I'm going to post one more video, and it's going to have notes without fill in the blanks, but it's going to have a little bit more information that you'll need for your upcoming test, and I will just post those notes there and then a lecture beside it. And I hope you watch it and get the information you need to be successful in the class. Until next time, Mrs. Compton, signing out.